What's going on? YouTube, it's ya boy, CamATL. Welcome back to another NFL video. I just recorded the Tennessee at Buffalo game. That showdown is on my channel. Go check it out if you haven't already. Yada yada yada. That game is a blowout. Probably not the most exciting one of the night, but we'll see. We'll see what happens. Now, we have the good one. I think this game's going to be a good one. I'm excited about this one. Minnesota at Philly. Both of these teams have some solid offenses. Both these teams aren't the greatest defensively. I think this is going to be a solid game, back and forth shootout. I can't really predict anything else. You know, uh, Game script wise, I don't think either of these teams is going to get ahead by much. So I really like this game competitively, and it's going to be a pretty easy one to talk about because of it. So, first and foremost, let's talk about some tidbits. Now, let's talk about captain first. Let's figure out who do we want at our captain. Um, just off of rushing ability, upside potential in this matchup, you got to expect Jalen Hurts to be probably the highest scoring player on the slate. Him or a Justin Jefferson or something like that. But I'm leaning Jalen Hurts as the number one guy. He does it with his feet. He does it through the air. As you can see, I've projected well above, 4 points above the second highest projected, which is Justin Jefferson because of the PPR format. Jalen Hurts is my captain, plain and simple. The his ability to run, his ability, to just do it all for this Philly offense is exactly what you look for in a captain here. At home in Philly, I just really love the spot for Hurts. I don't have to explain that too much here. All right, now that we got the spend up at the captain and the guy we really want, let's talk about value options. One guy I want to talk about is going to be. Okay, there we go. All right, one guy I want to talk about is KJ Osborne. I'm going to go ahead and put him at flex. The interesting part about KJ Osborne, he played over 67% of offensive snaps week one. The best part about it, though, two red zone targets. KJ Osborne got two red zone targets, and he's only 4'6". I really like this spot here. Like I said, it's a back and forth battle. There are a lot of mouths to feed on Minnesota, but I like the amount of usage that we're going to see out of him, especially when they get near that red zone, because I think both teams are going to get in the red zone multiple times, and that's another reason I love Jalen Hurts. He got like four red zone opportunities week one. He's going to get a lot here as well. He is the main guy in the red zone that they want to see. He's going to get a ton of carries down there as well, so he's fantastic. But the two red zone targets that Osborne saw week one is very interesting to me. And at only 4'6" in this game, I mean, they're going to be you'd have to imagine Philly's going to be focusing in on Dalvin Cook and Justin Jefferson, which should open some things up for Adam Thielen, KJ Osborne, these guys, tight ends. Let's talk about Irv Smith. Conklin, who was last year's Minnesota tight end, got the second most red zone targets last season on this team. He got the second most red zone targets on the team. Conklin, the tight end from last year. Irv Smith is a talented dude. He wasn't part of the game plan week one. The coach came out and said he didn't get targets because it just wasn't in the game plan for week one. You have to expect that to change here soon. Irv Smith is a talented dude. A guy who did see most of the offensive snaps at tight end for Minnesota was Johnny Munt. This dude saw a good amount of offensive snaps, man. He's a very interesting option. Benellison, with those red zone targets that we just talked about, right? We just talked about Conklin getting red zone targets from Minnesota. Second most red zone targets on here. I don't know why the hell I have that Bennett is in at a negative. That makes no sense. That is an error on the optimizer. I'm going to put a 2.2 at least. Okay, but Ben Ellison's fantastic value at $600. Okay, Ben Ellison is only $600. He saw a red zone target week one, and that goes back to what I was saying. Okay, he didn't play a ton of offensive snaps. The problem with Ellison is he only played 27% of snaps, but he got a red zone target in those snaps, so he's in there in the red zone. Like I said, both these teams are going to get in the red zone multiple times, so Ben Ellison is a value option that you can consider at only $600. Obviously, the main guy that you want to go with is going to be Justin Jefferson on this Minnesota team. Dalvin Cook's a solid option, sure. But in PPR formats, I love Justin Jefferson a ton today. I think he needs to be in everything, plain and simple. So Jalen Hurts, because of he's not the greatest thrower, I still do want to pair him up, and my favorite pairing with him is probably going to be Devontae Smith. Devontae Smith played the most snaps of any Philly wide receiver. You know what? I already have a Minnesota. Let's put Devontae Smith in the core. All right, because I want to pair him up with Jalen Hurts. Uh, Jalen Hurts isn't a guy you have to pair with anybody because, like I said, his floor with his rushing ability is really why you're playing him. But Devontae Smith played the most snaps of any Philly receiver week one. He's only 5'2". Yes, A.J. Brown coming in definitely hurt Devontae Smith from what we saw out of Devontae last season. A.J. Brown week one got a couple red zone targets. He's obviously a solid option, but 10-4 comparative to 5'2", and Devontae Smith played more offensive snaps. He was on the field almost every offensive snap they had. I'm down to take a shot at Devontae Smith at 5'2". He's got that speed to beat him over the top. We know his talent level is ridiculous. So Devontae Smith is a fantastic option. So Jalen Hurts at captain because of his rushing ability and just plain and simple, the floor I feel is highest for Jalen Hurts. Paired up with Devontae Smith, who I just think is too cheap at 5'2", running it back on the other end with my favorite Minnesota player, Justin Jefferson. I talked about KJ Osborne, love him because of the red zone attention he got on Minnesota. I think he could get in the end zone. Irv Smith and then Benellison, those guys are solid value options. Seeing that how much success Conklin had in that Minnesota offense last season in the red zone, second most targets on that team behind Justin Jefferson. Expect a cheap one of these cheap tight ends to get in the end zone in this game. And will it be Irv Smith? Who knows? If they keep the game plan they had week one, Irv Smith's not on the field enough. All right. Benellison and the other guy, what was the other tight end's name? Johnny Munt. Johnny Munt at 2K is the guy who got all of the tight end duties for week one. That could change, and it could flip flop to Irv Smith. Like I said, it was just their game plan week one. That could change here in week two. But Johnny Munt did get most of the run, so he is an interesting option at 2K for sure. Him getting all that percentage of run at in week one. Boston Scott seems to vulture a touchdown every once in a while, and he did get a red zone rushing opportunity in week one. He did get a red zone carry. Miles Sanders got 3 red zone carries week one, so expect to see a lot of Miles Sanders in the red zone as well at 8K. Everything is playable here. One guy I do want to talk about as well as a value is Kenneth Gainwell. He's not a super value. I mean, I do prefer Devontae Smith at that price, but Kenneth Gainwell at 5K is interesting for sure. Gainwell had 3 red zone opportunities. He was on the field in the red zone 3 times in week one. He got 1 target and 2 carries. So that's very interesting to me. Kenneth Gainwell at 5K getting 3 red zone opportunities week one. Like I said, 1 target in the red zone and then 2 separate carries in the red zone. Gainwell could have a solid game here, and I wouldn't be surprised, honestly, to see Gainwell, a player like Gainwell, end up getting like 2 TDs or something. It would not blow my mind with the way that these showdowns go at times. But Kenneth Gainwell, gotta mention him for sure. But the core, that's pretty much it, man. Let me see if there's anybody else that I wanted to make sure I mention in this game. A.J. Brown did get 2 red zone targets, so he's obviously in play if you have the money. Madison for Minnesota did get 2 red zone carries as well, and he's only 4-2 behind Dalvin Cook. Madison did get 2 red zone carries, and that is interesting for sure at 4-2. If he can punch one of those in, that'll be solid value. But that's about it, man. At 600, Ellison's interesting value. He did get a red zone target at only 600. And like I said, Minnesota obviously favors some tight ends in the red zone. So that's a solid spot. Irv Smith, could this be his bounce back after a slow week one? I don't believe anybody will play him because of week one. He could go out there and have a huge game week two. He is still their main tight end they're going to utilize in this Minnesota offense. He had a down week one, so in GPPs it's very interesting to hop on Irv Smith Jr. now that he didn't play a ton of snaps week one. And like I said, the coach came out and said it just wasn't in their game plan, but he is going to have some big games. He literally said Irv Smith will have some huge games this season, and this could possibly be one of those. And like I said, another point is Conklin having so much success as the tight end for this Minnesota offense last season. Second in red zone targets behind Justin Jefferson. So you have to, consider Irv Smith for sure, and then these other Minnesota tight end guys as well, if they, in fact, continue to get the usage they're getting. So that's about it. Jalen Hurts is my main man at captain with just everything he can do in this offense. Devontae Smith is too cheap at 5'2". It was between him or KJ Osborne for me. I like both of those options. I have Devontae Smith projected higher. Osborne has a better point per dollar at 1.9, but it doesn't matter. Jalen Hurts at captain. I like pairing him with Devontae Smith. I think Devontae at 5.2 is too cheap for a guy that the difference here is Devontae didn't get the red zone looks that Osborne got week 1. So that's the down part there. He didn't get the red zone looks, but he's on the field like 30% more of the time than KJ Osborne, and it will come. Okay, those opportunities will come. So at 5.2, he just feels a little too cheap for me. All right. All right, well, Devontae Smith, Justin Jefferson, obviously on the Minnesota side. That's your main guy, full point PPR. I do like Adam Thielen at 7.2. He is a solid price. And then Dalvin Cook, obviously, you can play him as well. He is 11K, so you're having to spend up for him. But Dalvin Cook could definitely have a big game. So we'll see what happens, man. Thank you guys for joining me as always. GreenlightDFS.com. Join the squad. Let's smash these showdowns in this little 2-game main NFL slate, as well as baseball as well. We got MLB tonight as well. So let's get it. And I'm out. Peace. Y'all have a good night.